What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are getting into the event that is Death of the Venomverse, issue number 1. Coming from the writer Colin Bunn, the Carnage symbiote has found a new calling. This calling is to kill all Venoms. This rampage started by consuming the powers of other villains in the Marvel Universe, but now he has set his sights on taking down Venom Eddie Brock, the King in Black. To take him down, he is starting by ridding the multiverse of any and all Venoms. So we're gonna strap in and we're gonna take a ride down the multiverse. We're gonna see all the variants of the one and only Venom. And while Carnage is on his rampage, he is obviously gonna get the attention of multiversal individuals. But are they enough to stop this soon-to-be god? Can they stop him before he becomes too powerful? Can they stop him before it becomes too late? Whatever happens, it all begins here. So make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are picking up where it all begins. We pick up with an Eddie Brock of Venom that is in prison, and in his cell, this is where Carnage comes. Taken completely by surprise, this Venom is taken out with great ease. Using his all-red weapon, he drives it right into the chest of Venom, and in doing so, he also absorbs the Venom. He takes it as his own, adding it to his own powers and possibilities. And this is just one of his many stops in the multiverse. This is what takes us to Agent Venom of Earth 1051. And Annie is letting us know that she is already too late, that there was a fight that went down here. They put up one heck of a fight, but this fight was lost. As Agent Venom begins to look at this crime scene, at this massacre, it looks like this is Rocket Raccoon if he had a Venom symbiote. Infinite universes means infinite possibilities. This means infinite versions and variants of Venom. As she speaks to Virus, this is the 12th Venom that they have come across from 12 different realities. They know that Carnage is doing this, though they don't know where this Carnage is from. They know that he's not slowing down. Now, while she tries to dissect this situation, we see that Carnage is making his way through the multiverse, taking on Wolverine Venoms and everything in between, while Annie is trying to figure out what this Carnage wants. Now, Carnage has always been a killer, but this time it's methodical, it is focused. The question now remains, what is he trying to accomplish? This is obviously more than murder. Now, Virus believes that he's training, that he's honing his skills, that he is preparing for a fight, though they don't understand a fight with whom. Because anybody that he would typically fight, he has already cut down reality by reality. But Carnage has been stopped before. Maybe this is him ensuring that he doesn't get stopped again. As Agent Venom and the rest of them show up to this Wolverine Venom, sitting in a puddle of her own blood. But there's more to it than that. Her symbiote. There is no sign of it whatsoever. No DNA, no codex, it is gone. Every single cell of it. While they continue to investigate, we pick up with an Ant-Man Venom. All of these Venoms, they truly have no idea what they are standing against. While some of them have already defeated the Carnage in their universe, others don't even know who Carnage is. Nonetheless, that doesn't stop our heroes from doing what they do best. But Agent Venom, every universe that they go to, there is nothing but destruction. That part of his MO has never changed. And no matter how great the battle, it appears that nothing is stopping Carnage. As they look at the crime scene of Ant-Man, they have to make this quick. They don't belong here. They are strangers in this universe. One thing they are certain of, when Carnage visits an Earth, once he kills the Venom, he won't be returning. And at this point, Annie is wondering how much more they can take. How many more multiversal versions of themselves do they have to scrape off the pavement? But they are getting closer. They haven't pinpointed how Carnage is jumping from reality to reality, but he is leaving behind a multiversal footprint. Another jump or two, and they may be able to catch up with him. This is what picks us up with Mania. Carnage has come here to take this Venom, and he recognizes that Mania, she has power. He can feel it as soon as he arrived, and he believes that this power belongs to him. With Carnage not wasting a single second, he goes in on Mania. He goes to take the Hellmark. But this is where Agent Venom and Virus come into play. Blasting Carnage in the back, Virus is able to save Mania, and Agent Venom goes in, telling Virus to get Mania and her Hellmark out of here before it is too late. That's when Carnage grabs hold of Agent Venom. Carnage knows that this Venom doesn't belong on this world. This is where he begins to understand that they are following him. As Agent Venom cuts away at Carnage, she falls down to the ground, but not before throwing a grenade right into Carnage's face. With a huge explosion, this gives Agent Venom the opportunity to hightail it out of here. For Carnage, this is only a momentary bump in the road. Getting to an alleyway, this is where Mania goes on to ask, "Who are you guys?" And Annie goes on to say that she is her reality's Agent Venom. As they try to get out of here, Virus is saying that the controls have been damaged, that it's gonna take a few seconds to bypass, and so they have to sit and wait. But Carnage has already made his way to this alley. He knows that these Venoms are close, but Annie knew exactly what she was doing. She wanted to drive Carnage into a kill box. This is where directly in front of Carnage, we have Agent Spider-Man, we have Agent Deadpool, and Agent Hawkeye, all of Earth 1051. And with their arrival, Carnage gets very excited. Finally, somebody coming to fight him. As they open up fire with their guns, Carnage laughs at them because there is no host in him. Agent Venom, she finds this very interesting, wondering how that is possible. How does Carnage no longer have a host? But as our heroes battle, we see Agent Spider-Man, he is ripped in half. Using spot powers, he rips him open. With Agent Deadpool going in, he is also quickly taken out of this fight. Mania unable to stay on the sidelines. Mania goes in with a full attack. Unfortunately, that attack was going to be her last. With Carnage ripping her open, they failed. Mania is dead, and Carnage has absorbed the Hellmark. With Virus letting them know that they are ready to jump, they get out of here as quick as they can. And we see Carnage imbued with new power, ridding himself of all weakness. And once he has done that, he will ensure that every single Venom is extinguished. As our agents arrive back home, they had hit Carnage with a sonic blast before they took off. This means that he is still weak to sonics. This is an advantage, but Agent Venom is taking this loss of Mania very hard. They thought that they might be able to save her. They thought that they were going to make a difference. But the hit and run tactics, those aren't working anymore. They need to hit Carnage. And to do so, they are going to need all hands on deck. They are going to need everybody. And nobody takes this harder than Thompson. This may not have been his mania, but it doesn't change the fact that it was a mania. Now, they know that there are other symbiotes out there with real power, with ungodly power, and they have taken it on as their job to protect them, to stop Carnage. But Thompson lets it be known that he is no longer being sidelined. This is where we pick up with Carnage. He has come to add lightning to his arsenal, an electro version of Venom. We see these two clash together, and in a matter of seconds, Carnage has already won this fight. And in winning this fight, he absorbs the power of electricity. He wasn't even sure if he was going to be able to do this, believing that taking these powers could have killed him, thinking that maybe it still might. Nonetheless, he believes that it is worth it. But standing behind him, there is much more to this world than meets the eye. Because while this was the electro version of Venom, this world has the Symbiote 6. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are picking up right in the midst of battle. Carnage taking on the Symbiote 6. Much like the Sinister 6, but all of them possessing symbiotes. From Rhino to Kraven the Hunter, we see Carnage plow his way through all of these guys, wanting to test out his true abilities. He summons his monsters of evil, and these monsters, they quickly tangle up the Symbiote 6. For him, this was a trial run, to see where his powers lie and how strong he truly is. He was able to take down 6 Venoms. He did so in half as much time as there are Venoms. He knows that he is almost ready. Soon, he will face the ultimate Venom. But this is where the agents come into play, trying to catch him by surprise along with the Symbiote 6. All of them jump in on Carnage. While it looks like this could be the end of Carnage right here and right now, he uses everything in his arsenal and he begins to lay down the hate, beheading Venoms, piercing them through the chest, one of them even being young Dylan, with Dylan being pierced right through the stomach. It looks like Carnage might just very well take out every single one of them, but that's when he gets hit with a sonic blast. One of the few things that remains a weakness for him, with Carnage going into full retreat. The agents left behind are left in a massacre. Dead Venom symbiotes all over the place. But the Rhino symbiote is still very much alive. And now, he wants to join the ranks. He wants to become an agent. He wants to track down Carnage. And he wants his payback. That's where we pick up with Carnage. As he is able to make his retreat, he is irritated. He is livid. After all of this power, going across the vastness of the multiverse, eliminating all of his vulnerabilities, yet the sonic blast is still something that does damage to him. That he was still defeated with simple sound. But he has a plan to stop all of this. This is what picks us up with Chaos Engine and Shriek. The two of them going toe to toe. And with Chaos Engine looking like he's about to win this fight, that is where Carnage comes into play. Wielding his all red, he steps in and he gets ready to take down the Chaos Engine. But as Carnage gets ready to jump in on him and take him away, this is where the Rhino symbiote comes in, piercing Carnage right through what would be a stomach. Only it doesn't do anything because he has no human host. Not far behind Rhino, this is where the rest of the agents come in. The agents focus on protecting the one with the guitar. Deadpool getting sliced in half yet again, but Carnage singles out their transporter. The guy that is jumping them from one place to another. Carnage is tired of being followed, and so he goes to take out their transportation. But with them able to hold off Carnage just for a minute, they grab the kid, they grab Chaos Engine, and they teleport out before Carnage can grab hold of them. Carnage wanted him because Chaos Engine possesses sonic abilities, a big rarity among symbiotes. But when Shriek comes up believing that this is her Cassidy, she quickly learns that this is not, as she gets pierced through the chest, the life leaving her body. We see her quickly turned down to nothing but bone. Now, back at HQ, they are feeling the loss of Dylan, but they don't have time to mourn. Carnage is getting stronger by the second. He's not just killing Venoms, he is absorbing them. Or at least absorbing the ones that he finds useful. There are an infinite number of universes, an infinite number of symbiote Venoms. If you look hard enough and long enough, there is no telling what you might find out there. A Venom immune to fire, immune to sonics, maybe one with powers that they can't even comprehend. And he is making that power his own. If they want to stop him, they gotta take him by surprise. Hit him with something that he's not expecting. They're not sure if this next thing is gonna work, but maybe, just maybe it might. A Hail Mary pass, if you will. They are bringing in some anti-venom to level the playing field. They are bringing in silence. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are picking up with our Carnage. And Carnage right now is going for his newest Venom, a cross between Venom and Man-Thing. A universe where Man-Thing became the Venom. And like all the other Venoms before, this one was easily crushed under the boot of Carnage. And while he is out hunting, we have our Agent Venom, Back on Earth 616, they are meeting up with Silence. After filling her in on everything that has been going on, they're hoping that with the help of Silence and some anti-venom, they might actually be able to defeat Carnage. And Agent Venom also informs her that this Carnage comes from your world. This is one reason that they are going for Silence. If they all are to fail, they want the anti-venom of this world to still be alive as a last line of defense. That's why they haven't gone for Flash. With a portal opening up, they head to the city where Carnage currently is. As they look around, this place looks like it's almost Middle-earth. And that is because this is Earth. This is Earth after the War of the Realms almost consumed it. Here on this plane of existence, the civilization of Midgard somehow survived. Asgard and Earth fused into one. But as they walk down the streets, this is where they are interrupted by what they believe to be a Valkyrie, going by the name of Ascardia. But she is no Valkyrie. That honor belonged to her mother. This is where our Agent Venom Flash, he begins to freak out a little because he knows her mother. And on this plane of existence, he is her father. And while they're not technically father and daughter, they still embrace one another like they have always known each other. But of course, this can't last forever. This is where we have the arrival of Carnage. And Carnage lets them know that he has been waiting for their arrival. He is here for all of them. He is so sick and tired of being followed, of them nipping at his heels, trying to delay his ascension. And so all of our Venoms, they go in. Virus unloading every single gun in his arsenal. Ammo that's augmented with small doses of antivenom. This is where Silence goes in. Carnage quickly recognizing that they are from the same Earth. But he says that he has evolved, that she is simply standing still. And while Silence is trying everything she can to get a single touch on him, she is unable to do so, because what he has become is so powerful that even with the forces standing against him, it is not enough. This is when Ascardia comes flying in. As she prepares to strike him down, Carnage leaps into the air with Allred, and he puts her down as quickly as she arrived to the battle, telling her that she is blind because she cannot recognize when a new deity walks among them. With Flash going in for the kill, going in to take on Carnage, that is when he takes Allred and he shoves it behind him, impaling Flash right in the stomach. That's when Virus begins to unload every bit of his bullets. But when Carnage goes after Virus, we learn that this is nothing more than an advanced Iron Man type machine, that there is no real Venom in here. What is inside is nothing more than a young Dylan Brock. This is Agent Venom's kid. And so now she jumps in. She goes after Carnage. Enough of a distraction for one of our anti-venoms to come up from behind Carnage and impale him. And finally, they think that we got him, believing that this is going to purge Carnage. Instead, we see the flames surround the anti-venom, beginning to burn him up, and then Carnage completely absorbs him. But not even Carnage knows what's gonna happen next. Taking an anti-venom into himself, he believes that it's worth the risk. It is worth dying if this works. If it means he becomes more powerful. But before he can finish talking, this is when his back erupts. Venoms and anti-venoms going out in all directions. All of those that he has absorbed, they are breaching out, they are trying to break free. The anti-Carnage, it is tearing him apart. It is doing so from the inside. Or at least, this is what they believe. Now they stand and watch as this happens, wondering, did we win? Did we just kill Carnage? Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are picking up with Carnage just freaking out. He just gobbled up an anti-venom, absorbing him right into his body. And all the agents, they are watching as this tears him apart. As this happens, we also see that Carnage's victims, the people he consumed, they are ripping themselves free. They appear to all be alive inside of there. This is where we see everybody that he has taken. All of them show up right in front of him. The weapons that he has gathered, they have been turned against him. But there's something different about them. They're not the same same as they once were. They're part Carnage and they are part anti-Carnage. Obviously, none of them expected this. Nobody knew what would happen, but Carnage sees this as another opportunity to test himself, to prove that he is really ready for the King in Black. And so as Carnage tries to fight back, we see them take all red from him and shove it into his chest. That everyone he consumed, they are attacking. And Agent Venom is seeing this as an opportunity. He is vulnerable to electricity, to fire, to sonics. If they're gonna take down Carnage, this is their opportunity. With one of our Venoms using the Dreamstone, he calls upon its power, calls for it to give him strength to destroy his enemy, to grant him an honorable death. It doesn't take long before we see that Carnage is trying to run away. They have flattened him out. They have weakened him down to one of his weakest states. But it doesn't take him long to reform. He reforms and he goes full force at them. And as Carnage begins to fight back, as we watch Venoms just be straight decapitated, this is where we have Venom. And Carnage, he does find this interesting, but this is not the Eddie Brock that he wants. While these two fight, we see that Venom smashes him up against the wall, but that is when the Carnage vines come out, shooting in all directions, grabbing hold of every single one of those that were a part of him, because Carnage is reclaiming what is his weapons, his armor, and his trophies. With a giant boom, Carnage has all of it back. Their window for taking him down has closed. Grabbing hold of one of the antivenoms, we see him put him down. He turns to the others and he asks them, "Do you understand yet? Do you realize, do you see what I have become?" The remaining forces that are left over, they really try to hold out. They try to fight against him, but there was no chance. Luckily for them, Dylan Brock has been working on teleporting everybody out of here. So before Carnage can fully just take everyone off the board, we see that they are all teleported out of here. And Carnage did consider going after them, but he's got bigger fish to fry. After testing himself and seeing that he came out victorious, this is what takes us over to the Silver Surfer. One more step before his final and ultimate ascension. But with Carnage's arrival, we see that All Red is driven right through the back of Silver Surfer. With him impaled on the god-killing weapon, he is prepared to take down Knull. As the heroes of this world stand against Knull, Knull tells them that he is going to kill this world. Our heroes are being overrun, and Knull is asking for Eddie Brock. Unfortunately, this King in Black is not getting an Eddie Brock. He is getting the King Killer, known as Carnage. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are picking up on Earth 1051, the Venom safe house. And all of our Venoms, they are licking their wounds. They just suffered a huge, devastating blow. They lost to Carnage and they lost bad. But they're going for one more Hail Mary pass. One more jump, one more fight. A battle that will decide the fate of everything moving forward. This is what hops us over to the battle currently ongoing. The heroes of this Earth, they are standing against Knull. They are doing everything they can to fight him off. But they have been losing, and they have been losing badly. Now, with the arrival of Carnage, our heroes not sure what to make of this, not at first, but they accept that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And so Captain America and everybody else in between, they go to fight alongside Carnage, as we see Knull and Carnage battling it out. Knull knows that Carnage is not from this reality, but it doesn't change the fact that Knull is going to squash him like a bug. And Carnage knows that if he's unable to defeat Knull, there is no way that he could stand against Eddie Brock. As these two share blow for blow, the heroes come in. They try to strike on Knull. Magneto tries to grab hold, but only holds him for a moment. Everything that our heroes throw, they are not working, with Captain America telling Carnage to get on his feet. They have Knull on the defensive, but they need Carnage to take him down. When Captain America goes to say, "Avengers assemble," that is when Carnage, he guts Captain America. Carnage has no intention of working together. In fact, he would prefer to fight this alone. He needs to fight this alone. That'll be the only way to truly test if he is capable of fighting this fight. With Captain America going down, we see Knull behead Magneto, and then Carnage spikes impale all of the other heroes. One of the last standing is Thor, but even Thor gets cut in half by Knull. For a small moment, Knull and Carnage teaming up to take down the Avengers. But that's only so they can battle one another. And now that they have been taken down, this is when the Celestials come from the sky, with Knull believing that he has the upper hand. As quickly as these Celestials come down, we see Carnage chop off one of their heads. And now Knull fully understands what he might be up against. And so, as the two of them clash together, we see the teleportation. The Venoms have arrived. They have come late to the battle, but they are trying everything they can to fight this off, to kill Carnage right here and right now. As they observe the battlefield, they know that they must protect the King in Black. This is not an ideal situation, but Carnage, he would be far worse in their eyes. Because if Carnage wins, if he takes the power from the King in Black, he would become unstoppable. And Knull is only focused on one reality, while Carnage, he has been focused on all realities. In this situation, Carnage seems to be the bigger threat. The only problem, there are symbiote dragons surrounding them. They can't even get close to this battle. They must handle the dragons first, as all of the Venoms are being overrun. That is where we have Asgardia, the daughter of Midgard. She picks up Thor's hammer, and she declares that she is a Valkyrie. This is where we see the thunderous Valkyries coming in. This has evened the playing field with the symbiote dragons. This is giving our Venoms the opportunity to go in on Carnage. And their goal here is to teleport Knull away. To get him away from this reality, get him away from Carnage. Don't even give Carnage the opportunity to win this fight. The only problem, the teleportation is not working. After their last battle with Carnage, they were able to get it to work enough so they could get here. But now that they are here, they are having malfunctions. Dylan is unable to operate it correctly, and so their split-second opportunity, it is gone as quickly as you could take a breath. And this is when it happens. With Carnage taking all red, he drives it right into the back of Knull, impaling Knull, lifting him up to the sky. And the Venoms know that they have lost. Carnage has ascended to godhood, and he knows now that there is nothing left. There is no foe to conquer. There is only Eddie Brock, the King in Black of 616. That is the only obstacle that now stands in his way, with antivenom saying that we gotta get out of here, telling Dylan to teleport everybody and do it right now. But Dylan is fighting against this. Antivenom said that we were gonna fight, and Dylan's still having hope that they can win this, that they can do this. This is where we have a full-on scale attack. Every single Venom being teleported in. Any that might be at their arsenal. Any that might be standing in reserve. But this is lambs to the slaughter. This was all futile. All for naught. There was no surviving after this. Every Venom that attacks, they get impaled. They get decimated. They get absolutely annihilated. And at this point, Antivenom, and she is begging and pleading with Dylan to send us back. That she was wrong. She was so very wrong. But before Dylan can even say another word, he also gets impaled. The all red going right through his chest. All of the Venoms, they are holding him back, holding Carnage, ensuring that he can't move. This gives Antivenom the opportunity to operate the teleport. All of them sent away in a hurry. And while Carnage finds this very cowardly, whether they're dead or alive, they have all returned to their graves. He may focus on them on a later date, but now he has a date with destiny, with another Dylan dead, the Venoms licking their wounds. Carnage is headed back to 616. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Alright, so this was fun. I'm not 100% sure if I believe Carnage could have won this fight. Now don't get me wrong, Carnage has definitely leveled up, but I think plot armor really has been the overall theme going into this story. In fact, I believe one of you had said in the comments that it's only fair Carnage gets plot armor, especially considering the heroes always have some kind of plot armor. And I think that's a fair assessment. Rarely do we get villains that get the plot armor. It's usually the good guys, and that's how they overcome just unbelievable odds. But this time, it's Carnage. And we have seen Carnage come a long way. Now, if you've been following the channel, we have been following Carnage along his trials for the last 2 years or so. We have seen his ups and downs, his failures, his fallings. But seeing him ascend in such tremendous ways, it really has been a little bit refreshing. But like I said, I don't necessarily believe that he would have been able to defeat Knull, the King in Black. Like we saw what happened when Knull of 616 arrived. He absolutely just destroyed everybody. And Carnage is powerful. He has gathered a lot of abilities and he really has leveled up. I just don't know if I believe he was strong enough to go against the King in Black. I think a one-on-one Carnage might have lost. The problem is there were so many Venoms, there were so many heroes, there were so many distractions. And Carnage killed Knull by stabbing him in the back, literally. Could he be so lucky against the Eddie Brock of 616? Does he stand a chance against Eddie Brock? The way that Eddie Brock is currently right now, he might. Eddie Brock is so focused on his son. He is so focused on Dylan, who is currently Codex, who also has the Necro Sword. He has all black. So you know what? For this universe, I'll give it to Carnage. Maybe this is a nerfed version of Knull. Maybe all the distractions with all the heroes and all the Venoms gave Carnage the opportunity to win this battle. But when he goes to 616, I think things are going to be different. Yes, Carnage is going to have the power of the King in Black, to an extent. Because when he goes to 616, he will not have control over all symbiotes. Or at least he shouldn't. Because those are all connected to Eddie's hive mind. At least those that Dylan hasn't cut from the hive mind yet. But on 616, there are more variables. There is still Cletus Cassidy. He's out there doing all kinds of craziness. What happens when Carnage returns and Cletus sees what he has become? Will they join together? Or will Cletus be angry and fight against him? What we do know is that the Symbiote War is coming. We know that it will take place in New York City. We know that Victor Von Doom has made plans to try and use individuals like Dylan against Eddie Brock. And then we have Meridius. We have all the King in Blacks in the little paradise of time, if you will. I can't remember exactly what they called it in the Venom series, but it's where the King in Blacks are at the end of all time, and everything that surrounds them is symbiotes. All the King in Blacks being various versions of Eddie Brock throughout his timeline. Will we see all of these King in Blacks coming together to fight Carnage? There are so many questions that are left up in the air, but one thing is for certain: Carnage is about to reign. Let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything that has been going on with Carnage, everything going on with Venom, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is going to get you completely caught up on everything that has been going on with all of these series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. If you're unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.